Mombasa Road, you are going to expect heavy delays from Submia Business Park all the way to the Nyayo Stadium. Police are conducting spot checks on PSVs near Bellevue Avenue. In
Live pictures from one of the polling stations in Emurua Dikirr. The polling stations opened at 6 a.m. this morning. The by-elections are on, looking for their new representative following the untimely death of Johanna Ngeno, who was their MP for quite a long time. Polling has started in all the 94 polling stations across the constituency. This is not the only contest. There are other contests for different wards in Samburu County and in Elgeyo Marakwet as well. So we'll be getting a live report from our reporter, Sydney Chazema, who's in Emurua Dikirr, later on as we continue with a special coverage of the by-elections in Emurua Dikirr constituency. Once again, the candidates who are vying for this position are Vincent Rotich of the DCP party, David Kipsang of UDA, Desma Cherono of PNU, Koech Gideon of NVP, and Rotich Kiprono of the RLP. These are the men and women who are contesting to become the next member of the National Assembly representing Emurua Dikirr constituency. And this is what is our main focus this morning on State of the Nation, even as we discuss other headlines, but definitely our focus is on Emurua Dikirr. Yes, indeed. This morning we are privileged to have in studio, beginning on my immediate left, Dr. Peter Mbai, who's the Secretary Planning and Economic Affairs at the DCP. They do have a candidate in the Emurua Dikirr constituency by-election. Mwalimu Wilson Sosion joins us this morning. Mwalimu is an educationist, also a unionist, and a former member of the National Assembly. And we are also privileged to have with us this morning Dismas Mokua, political risk analyst. Gentlemen, good morning, karibuni sana.
Good morning.
And you look at the front page of the Daily Nation, and I'm sure members of the UDA party will really be shocked that DCP is getting this much prominence in a race that ideally they shouldn't. Emurua Dikirr, Dr. Peter Mbai, both the Daily Nation and the Taifa Leo. Nani atatamba leo? And the dailies appear to have focused on the DCP candidate and the UDA candidate. This level of coverage, even coming the DCP way, did you expect it, Dr. Mbai?
Thank you very much. Let me tell you, some truck came there, carried off everything. It has been kept mum. And unfortunately, the governor for Narok is a relative to the family. But nothing has happened. So the people of Emurua Dikirr believe that Johanna Ngeno's death may not, I'm using those words deliberately, may not have been very natural. And they blame the government gender for whatever may have happened. There are many theories. And they go back to see, when our son was in the opposition, he was doing very well, when there was a distance between him and President Ruto when he was a DP. But when he joined the government, it's like they were bringing him closer to do whatever may have happened again to him. So there is a perception in Emurua Dikirr that there was some hand or some circumstances that they may have caused the death of Johanna. So the vote today is a protest vote. It's a revenge mission. And that's why they said, we cannot be having questions about the death of Johanna. You never told us. And then we vote for your candidate as government. And so they came to DCP saying, we want a party that cannot be bought. Listen to me. That's what they came and told us. We want a party that cannot be bought. The only party that they knew cannot be bought under any circumstance is DCP. Now, remember, Johanna has been, according to them, an opposition leader throughout. Because of the circumstances about the issue of land, Agata and all that, those other kind of issues that he has been fighting for. Johanna Ngeno now. This is the spirit of Johanna.
Elected primaries and more than 26,000 people showed up for the primaries.
Well, according to the locals, and please, I'm very careful with my words. According to the locals, the person who won is not the one who was given the ticket. According to the locals, that's another protest line. It's another protest line. Remember what happened in Baringo? And again, the person people wanted, they didn't get the vote. finally, Gideon Moi comes, he was short-changed, whatever other things happened, whatever he was promised was not given. So they were able to see, hey, this is what you did in Baringo. This time around, they said, oh, you have repeated the same game. We'll show you what will happen.
I should help the police or the DCI to record a statement if he has anything new concerning his death. It is wrong to spin wrong information, particularly that relates to death of people. I'm saying so because Johanna Ngeno is a relative to me, is my uncle, and we know the circumstances in which he died. So to listen to strange allegations, I think that is misleading, it is wrong, it is immoral, it is unacceptable, to say the least. When the by-elections that are going on today offers the people of Emurua Dikirr an opportunity to democratically elect their next member of parliament from amongst those who are contesting. And we cannot twist facts of history. The late Johanna Ngeno was a member of UDA, and not just a member of UDA, a high-ranking member of UDA, who actually was the chairman of Housing Committee in the National Assembly, and engaged in a lot of social engagements outside his constituency, including mobilizing and rewarding musicians in a feat that was strongly supported by government, the president himself, and his colleagues, members of parliament. He had his space, and nobody limited him. And he wasn't playing any opposition politics. He spinned very strong social programs that were politically inclined to the Kenya Kwanza manifesto. So to try and create a negative narrative is wrong. And the people of Emurua Dikirr, as far as I know, and from the data I have, will elect a UDA member of parliament today. That's a fact. And I think I should have dinner with him, and we receive results.
Does it concern you that the DCP is getting this level of prominence in an area where they would typically not? Any other party, even in the larger Maasai area, probably it would be ODM. Now DCP, immediately after the by-elections that they won Narok town,
you know, we are in a democratic country. Fred Demule, we are not in a dictatorship. We are not in a one-party state. We are in a democratic country. And to get voters getting excited with one party or the other is not a new thing. And that is a democratic right. And nobody's against them. They are free, field your candidates, campaign your candidate. We have seen, they've done it. Nobody has touched them. And they will go cast their vote. Those who believe, there are many parties. It's not only DCP. There are many, many parties that have fronted candidates in Emurua Dikirr.
Okay.
And the people are free to choose from any. But of course, I've told you empirically, and I always tell you, and believe me always, the Emurua Dikirr will go with UDA.
That may be. We only have hours to wait until we know who is the winner. But whichever,
by 10, the gap will be good.
But whichever party wins, the performance of the DCP in this context will be of interest, whether their candidate wins or not. Don't you believe so, Bwana Mukua?
Well, you know, the biggest threat to our elections in Kenya is misinformation and disinformation. And you've seen the two gentlemen on my right, all of them are really beating hard for their political formations. But Dr. Mbaye has introduced a bit of voodoo politics, saying that this vote is going to be guided by the spirits, so that the people who long died are the ones who are going to influence the electoral outcome. And in Africa, to win an election, that is actually what we are supposed to be doing. Because there is now evidence the majority of people in Africa do not vote based on facts and figures. They vote on emotions, which is the reason why if you start looking at the composition of these political parties, you may want to ask yourself one question. How come DCP is majority Mount Kenya? And the newspapers, the cartoons have said that DCP has not presented a policy position on any issue. In fact, their policy position is Ruto must go, Ruto one term. They've not gone the extra mile to explain if Ruto goes, so what? Now, this morning, President Donald Trump has just landed in China, and I've seen a very solid reception. And the two presidents are talking about his arrival. And he told people that if you want to win in Mount Kenya, if you want to win in Masai Land and you do not join my political party, then that is political suicide. After that, everybody was beaten into one neat row. Now, that is what is likely to happen in the by-election today. And you ask a very pertinent question. How come the conversation right now is around UDA and DCP? It's simply in Kenya, we don't have political parties, but we have powerful political personalities. It's the case that if DCP was under a gentleman called Dismas Mokua, you would not even get a filler story. But now you've got a very powerful political personality who is actually intimidating everybody. You know, if you come from Mount Kenya and you don't support a DCP, you are branded a traitor for taking a political position. So that if you are selfish interests, because every politician has got selfish interest, if your selfish interests are not aligned to Rigathi Gachagua's selfish interest, then you are branded a traitor. In fact, somebody, a master's or a PhD student, should do a paper and find out how that thing called traitor is going to affect voter turnout. That if you take an independent position, you're going to be beaten into a pulp. The same thing happened in Rift Valley a few days ago when President Ruto spoke in his mother tongue and said to the people, you guys, why can't you go and register? If you don't register, somebody is going to move away this cake. So it means that all the politicians in Kenya, it's about their selfish interest.
Is this a trend we are seeing where DCP will now be the main challenger for your UDA party, even in areas where no other party has felt confident enough to challenge the UDA?
DCP will not be the main challenger for UDA. It's going to be Mr. Rigathi Gachagua. And I can bet my grandmother's cow that if for some reason today Rigathi Gachagua decides to shake hands with President Ruto, then DCP doesn't exist anymore. You recall, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua was a very happy man till President Kenyatta said that there is a political party called Jubilee that I want to invigorate. And he said that we are going to start from Mount Kenya. All of a sudden, you saw structured campaigns running against Dr. Matiang'i because they said Dr. Matiang'i is going to be the Jubilee's presidential candidate. Never mind that in Mount Kenya, Munya has got a political party, Kiunjuri has got a political party. In fact, the highest concentration of political parties is in Mount Kenya and Kisii. You know, in Kisii, if you want to be a politician, the first thing you do is you have your political party, and also in Mount Kenya. Now, the pronouncement that Dr. Matiang'i is coming to town, there was fury. When Matiang'i said that we are going to run Jubilee candidates, the entire of Mount Kenya, I saw DCP back in my village in Kisii, they're actually identifying candidates. And because of Kenya's ethnic composition, they stand a very high probability of getting a couple of elected leaders.
DCP?
In Kisii, yeah. And you know, Kisii is probably the most cosmopolitan, multicultural setup in Kenya. So they stand a chance of getting elected, not nominated, elected people in Kisii. And in my view, going forward, if we want to make progress, and join, you know, when we hosted this Africa Summit, which was a big deal, if we want to sit comfortably in those meetings, we must start abandoning tribal considerations for everything we do in town.
But as we sit here today, Dr. Mbai, do you see DCP now? This is a party that's months old. It's only months old. Yeah. You're yet to even launch the party.
Yes, you're doing.
And this appears to be the party giving UDA headache in Emurua Dikirr.
Yes.
Why is that? What is this that you have that other parties don't? Why did other parties stay away from that from this by-election and not DCP?
No, it's very simple. And I don't know why people are shocked and surprised about DCP. I don't know why. Our party leader has been second in command. I mean, he had all the levers of power. He had access to all the institutions of power and all that. It's only that we agreed to cede to President Ruto when he told us you don't need to come with a party. And so we said, it's okay, you are a gentleman. We are going to take your word. So if you prove that you are a betrayer and a conman and a deceiver, we simply get a party and run against you to the end, by the way. Yeah? So I don't know why people are shocked. What were we supposed to do, by the way? Were we supposed to go and begin grazing cows and all that and maybe milking and, you know, maybe potato farmers and coffee farmers? I don't know why people don't understand. It's about power. It's about parties, everybody go there so that they can access power to help their people. That is why there is a president and a running mate so they can be able to galvanize the country. So the question is, Fred, the answer is rather, you're asking why DCP? DCP is alternative government.
Yes, but we saw your reluctance in the Mbere contest. Even in the Malava contest, we saw that you pulled out your candidate. Now we're seeing DCP coming out more and more. Olkalau, you've insisted you're going, you have a candidate despite the fact that Jubilee has. Previously, it is DCP that stepped down to allow other candidates for the United Opposition to go ahead. Now, Emurua Dikirr.
Two things. First of all, we agreed after Mbere, we will never, ever, ever step down our candidates for any position in this country, from the president all the way to MCA. That's a decision we have taken as a party. Mbere was unique because the leaders, they approached us. You know, they told us, you know, because of the clans, we have agreed with the DP and, you know, the bars. One got a candidate, the other got a party. You know, it was some mixture of something. Going forward, we are saying, let's go on and on because DCP is the alternative government in waiting. So nobody should be shocked. And I thank this man for saying, even in Kisii, you know, our candidate there was a very strong second in the nominations. I mean, we have somebody from Narok who has been elected on DCP. Somebody from Western was been elected.
Is that what has buoyed you enough to go for this current context, your latest win in Narok? That it showed you that, yes, probably that region.
Remember, it was here, publicly, as we don't do things at night. They came to the party and they told us, you know, led by Johanna Kamilan and all that, they told us, we are crying. We have a problem in Emurua Dikirr. Can you give us a ticket? It is the people. And I can tell you this as we speak here. We have hundreds of people from across Rift Valley. I mean, we didn't go for them. They are saying, but we told them, let's wait for the results. Let's wait for the results. They are coming. We are going to have more aspirants in Rift Valley and other places of this country.
So we're going to see DCP fielding candidates in other areas.
I can tell you, seated here as a Secretary for Planning and Economic Affairs, we are going to field candidates in every part of this country. Anybody, and the beauty is, it is somebody who comes and says, in my area.
Launched like DCP that's not even a year old.
You know, Emurua Dikirr, historically have elected in different political parties. In 2013, they elected him on KNC, but of course in 2007, they elected him on ODM. And you know the drama around that victory and how it was overturned. And eventually to resolve the conflict was to create the new Emurua Dikirr constituency, of which Ngeno clinched through KNC, a rare happening that nobody expected. And those who are voters, they accepted Ngeno as a person through the ticket that he came with. And in 2017, he was elected still on Kano. And in 2022, he was elected on UDA. And if you look at the operations of political parties in Rift Valley, in 2007, almost everybody was elected through Orange Democratic Movement, ODM. And to the current Emurua Dikirr elections, yes, there are up to 5 political parties. But of course...
No ODM, no KANU, that have actually tried...
No, ODM is broad-based, so the broad-based framework is UDA. That's a fact. Where UDA is fronting a candidate, ODM cannot front.
That's now zoning.
No, that's a fact.
You've already said no
zoning was done. And I said there would be technically zoning one way or the other, because you cannot expect UDA to go and field a candidate in Bondo constituency, for example, unless seriously compelled by circumstances.
And we'll come back to that.
For this one,
a live update from
where DCP, it is not about DCP. DCP is not a political party. It's just It is,
According to the paper,
just
it is your biggest challenge.
A color being flashed around.
All right.
But DCP is a raw rebellion of an individual.
Allow us, we'll come back to you
called
shortly.
Rigathi.
Let's take a live update from Emurua Dikirr. Our reporter Sydney Chazima is on the ground. Good morning, Sydney. Bring us up to speed with the events so far in Emurua Dikirr. How many number of polling stations have you visited, and what's the turnout like this morning?
Well, thank you very much, Ndimuli. As you've rightly put it, a by-election right here in Emurua Dikirr constituency has kicked off, and we have been able to visit 2 polling stations to make that declaration that this election will be held on Thursday today. And what we have been able to observe in Ndimuli is what we already observed in other by-elections, speaking of Kasipul, where we are seeing the youth are not turning up here. The elderly dressed in their jackets, dressed in their caps, just keeping warm, and the ladies wrapped in traditional kikois just to come and exercise their rights. So the question begs again, where is the youth going to turn up for this election? And we've also seen the IEBC gave directions that mobile phones will not be allowed inside the booth. This is just to discourage that practice of Kenyans just coming out and posting pictures of whom they voted for. I think what informed the IEBC is that probably this goes ahead to influence who people are going to vote for. So we've seen, even Chebet can just show you, just close to that door where someone is just passing, there is a notice that no mobile phones are allowed in these streams, I can say, so that to discourage the issue of maybe swaying where the voters are going to vote on social media, posting the pictures of how they've already voted. So if you can just go to this side, I can show you more of what is happening here. And remember, this is an election that has attracted several candidates, 5 of them. But mainly, I've been following through your discussion. You've been talking about UDA and DCP. And mostly, that has been the sentiment on the ground, that these are the 2 parties that are going to be hotly contesting for this by-election. And we have David Keter of UDA and Vincent Rotich of DCP. And rightly so, the discussion around here has been who is really going to carry the day. Based on the pictures that we've been getting from the ground, we saw rallies being held by Vincent Rotich, where women were putting on uhuru bags on their head with colors of DCP. Many going as far as saying about how him and Ngeno were very close, and about how him and Ngeno were very close. And funny enough and interestingly enough, he made that announcement of his death, and that is something that the widow of Johanna Ngeno has made reference to. That is something that the widow of Johanna Ngeno has made reference to, saying that it was a bit strange, to an issue that was arising, but it was able to be sorted out. So right now, I think I'll be able to look for someone who's